Hey peeps, Xeiny here, and we're continuing on with the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last episode, we started Chapter 2 and are already getting framed for murder once again. And due to situations, I had to go to the title screen, and I found it kind of cool that it's reflecting what chapter we're on. But let us continue from where we left off. If I can figure out which one that was, I'm pretty sure... yes. It's time for us to meet a character I have been eagerly awaiting to meet. As far as I can tell, looks like he might be European.
How did he...
You've noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious. And tall. Suspiciously tall.
Narada-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is?
Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. Is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell.
Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him.
Am I just imagining it, or does Susanoo-san almost look uncontrollably excited?
By the way, I expect that you noticed already, but just in case. If you press space on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them.
Alright then. I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself.
Oh, please do.
Okay, before, however, I never talked to the man over here. Perhaps I should see what the Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me. What? I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean.
Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it's not true, I see.
Sorry?
The criminal asking investigator for information about his crime. Very funny.
Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke.
He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty.
Might have useful information, though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all?
Niet, of course not. Now back to corner of room and make silent. I say no more to you.
Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. Well, time to have some fun. Also, I did get curious to see if he was voiced by Professor Layton. Turns out, this is his first role. So, yeah, good on him. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment?
Shh, this is a critical point in my investigation.
Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly.
Yes, perhaps that'd be for the best.
Greetings. I hope I haven't kept you long.
What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now?
Ah, I see. Fascinating.
Sorry? What do you see? Looks like he's looking right through me.
Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry? What?
And now, whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament.
Oh, well, that's true at least.
But how?
How the deuce did I know that? Perhaps it was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining.
Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else?
But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are, a merciless revolutionary.
What?
You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower.
What?
And when the berry-boned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too.
What?
Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes.
Dude, what were you doing over at that desk? Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you?
Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name.
I don't even see one person who fits the bill!
So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama.
You're believing all of this. What?
And you're plotting a revolution too? It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked.
No, listen, there's no way— Oh, God!
Now explain yourself. Tell me everything.
This is ridiculous.
How could you do it?
For pity's sake, open your eyes! I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously.
Oh, forgive me.
And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came to your head.
Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Ha! There you have it, you see. What do you make of that?
Well, to be honest, the ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of the murder. So, I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation.
Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right.
Ha! I don't think you introduced yourself.
Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I'm none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes.
So, it's really you? The actual Sherlock Holmes?
The very same. The inimitable, actual Sherlock Holmes.
Do you know this man, Suzato-san?
The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san? Of course I do! There's nobody who hasn't heard of him!
What planet I've been living on, then?
We must ask him what he's deduced! He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure!
Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Oh, boy. Well, sir, did you know that I have a badge that I keep trying to examine when I mean to present? Ah, crap. Okay, he's not looking over it. What? What? Okay, sir, you're scaring me. Okay, Mr. Great Detective, tell me about yourself. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again?
Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, I see. You're German? Herlock, was it?
No, I have no her. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Sholmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication.
Oh yes, Rance Magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially.
Ah, yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories, then?
Indeed I am.
And you've read so many of your own stories, you start to think you really are a detective.
Make no mistake, I am not the poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward.
Backward?
My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine.
You have a biographer, do you?
Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London.
Dr. Wilson?
I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment, I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown.
Really? Can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not.
Deduction, you see, is to me a science, logical reasoning in its purest form.
A science?
Really?
The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in a subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of the muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin, all these things are data.
Right.
And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago.
How can he look me in the eye and claim that?
So you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about what happened. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet?
Have I managed to deduce anything, my dear fellow? Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him.
When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open.
And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Sherlock Holmes was on board. And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me.
Oh, really? 2 facts, you say? Oh. Well, let's see what he was investigating first. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you?
Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim.
Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all?
Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text.
London diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. But I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people.
tragic, and something you want to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading.
You mean you've read it already?
It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese.
Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Susato-san? Aren't you gonna throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns?
I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san? What on earth do you mean?
Life is so unfair.
Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to the details.
Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese.
A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado. I trust you're suitably impressed.
Ha!
But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none.
So what was all that showing off about before then?
If you'd be so kind as to show me, I'd be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes.
I'm much obliged, my dear madam.
The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first three...
Wait a minute. You were getting on me about reading this. You're fangirling and letting him, quote-unquote, read through it. But now you're just A-okay with reading this.
1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound.
Whistling sound?
These are very deep waters. Pray, go on.
The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill.
A speckled band? What on earth does that mean?
I have no idea. I've never heard the expression before.
The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice here on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabins.
Yes, the adjoining cabin. Okay. So what are your 2 facts? Mr. Sholmes, tell us please, what 2 facts were apparent to you when they came to the cabin this morning?
Ah, yes, but first, let us be precise. The 2 facts in question were immediately apparent to me.
Yes, I understand, but what were they?
Allow me to elucidate. The 2 facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape from the culprit out of the question. Number 2, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance.
Oh my god, he's a moron. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. What made you think the victim was Russian?
Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. That is the Russian word for wardrobe.
So, do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian?
In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian.
Kazuma was Russian, was he?
Initially, I considered Garderob may be the name of the killer. A certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there, at least.
Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly.
Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer.
Why is it that I'm Russian too?
I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people.
Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea.
And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong.
I took a photograph of the victim and the message, that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed.
Yes, Cosmo had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this.
Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, thank you. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes?
What, pray?
You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that?
Ah, yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth.
Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me? Do you think?
Certainly, if it interests you.
How many times? I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian! Can we talk about your deduction before the things you conclude about me, I mean?
Ah, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in.
Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part.
Ah, yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads, Revolutionary Violent Broshki flees Russia via Shanghai.
Are you kidding me?
This vessel made a port called at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered.
Since when was Kazuma a Russian?
It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded that he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor.
It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, Violent Broshkiv.
No. How could it be me? I don't look anything like this man! Just look at the face!
Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well.
Please.
And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more?
Well, that's because I'm a stowaway.
What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower?
Ah, yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far and those he's plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Boshkiv was included. There can be no mistake.
Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters? I wonder.
And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan?
Also quite clearly stated here in this article. Boshkiv has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan.
Where even is it anyways? This Afghanistan place.
Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction.
Oh, thank you.
I have absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well.
On the back?
Cast your eye over it sometime if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret.
It's all written in Russian. Couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two.
So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least.
Do you have somewhere to go?
As it happens, the victim's writings in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I'm still too long, the seasickness takes hold.
Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to.
Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exhalation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence, the truth will become clear soon enough.
Do you think perhaps that we could go with you?
No, that would be somewhat complicated.
What? Why?
A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer.
Oh, please.
After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No.
There's no point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place.
Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point.
Wait, what? You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago.
Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing.
Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too.
You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really.
So what? Were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are.
Well, anyway, that was then and this is now.
What do you mean?
What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate.
I was just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. Sense of humor is twisted as his name.
Naruto-san, what are you just standing there for?
What?
You must go and investigate the cabin next door as well.
Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way I can... Why?
After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate?
As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we saw some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's get around examining what we can in the cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door.
Good idea.
The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this. And bring the real culprit to justice. Well, I guess first things first, let's examine that paper. I pressed the wrong button. Ooh. Huh? This is interesting.
Have you found something relevant, Naruto-san?
Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting.
I can't read a single word, I'm afraid.
No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess. Do you think?
She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, don't you?
I don't know. I can't make any sense of it.
Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article. Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents.
Oh, thank you. It's a favorite word, this Mr. Sholmes.
It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novak Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova.
Why are Russian names so hard to remember?
It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from a dressing room. wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles.
Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles?
I have no idea, but I'm quite sure. It must be an unbelievable sum of money.
Sano-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves.
The tiara is probably of Noviak Ballet, but seems the director is beside herself with worry.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain.
Could this be another case of Russian fleeing his or her country?
It does seem to be the Russian thing to do.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well, it's something. Hey, you willing to talk to us a little bit? Or is it just gonna be nothing? Would you mind if I investigate a little outside?
Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it is not true, I see.
Sorry?
The criminal asking a prison guard to help him escape. Very funny.
We're in the middle of the sea. There's no chance of me escaping.
Niet! You stay in this cabin until next port. Then it's up to Hong Kong police to decide what they do with you. You stay.
Alright. No point trying to appeal this man's better nature, that's for sure. Okay, so some of this we have already seen. I just haven't clicked on it due to, you know, the glitch I had last time that you guys didn't see. So we just gotta fast forward that, blah 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 blah. Okay, I gotta examine this again. I didn't press that. Kinda wish there was a fast forward button, but it makes you read the text once. Okay, did I... Oh, I didn't examine the sword. I gotta examine the table.
There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason.
Yeah, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still. No, wait a minute.
What is it?
That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all.
So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama.
No. Okay, so we gotta examine the sword. Which we gotta deal with the text again, because I know we've already seen this one before. If I would have known that this is basically required, I probably would have examined it again before I start up the game again. So what else hasn't been examined? I gotta examine the lock again. Sorry. Okay, so we examine that, gotta examine that again. Okay, I think we're getting close to getting caught up. Okay. Oh, hello. Oh, look over there.
The crewman you deeming... He wasn't there before, was he?
That's what I thought.
Why don't we try talking to him?
Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again. But I suppose I could try. Excuse me, sir.
Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san?
Oh, no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir?
Yes, what can I do for you? I recognize that face, but it can't be! It is!
I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hasanaga.
Hello again?
What are you doing here?
I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you. My heart stopped.
Nearly stopped? I hope.
I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board this ship.
Again?
You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector.
If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask.
I expect to see this man on board. But perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. And we will converse with him next time. I'll see you guys later.